Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Life, Law, Bin. Well, but
Yeah.
there was something that you touched on earlier
hmm
regarding anxiety. And I do know that you have an anxiety disorder. You've been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. And there are quite a few law students that suffer with mental health challenges. This is a very demanding course. Some of us suffer with imposter syndrome. And we're always looking for sources of inspiration, people who continue to be successful um, in the midst of these challenges. And a lot of people don't understand that sometimes these things, you get anxious, you get extremely overwhelmed, you get depressed. It's almost like a sickness. It weighs on you like a sickness. So I'm asking you, as a successful person so far, what has been your coping mechanism, especially through that very grueling bar course year?
Okay, so I recently was diagnosed. I hate using that word, but and I hate using that word because I'm Caribbean, and there's a stigma around mental health in particular. And as I was telling you earlier, I don't understand the stigma in the Caribbean because the same way that um, persons accept that your body can become ill, your foot might stop working or whatever, you might have issues with your reproductive health, all of that can happen, and persons generally accept that, well, this is a sickness because your body is it deteriorates with time and with certain stresses that are put on your body. And we understand that, that, well, if I am constantly lifting heavy things and
My
not doing it properly, my
That's
back
a problem.
is gonna go out, and I'm gonna have issues with my back for the rest of my life. We understand that in the Caribbean, but when it comes to mental health, there's this idea that, well, why should you be seeing a doctor if you you could just pray about it? And prayer is important. It definitely is important with any kind of healing, but there is that, I guess, anger, I suppose, towards persons actually seeking out medical help for mental issues, because there seems to be this idea that, well, your brain, which is also an organ, well, nothing could happen to that. Stresses on your brain, like how if I put weight on my back, that nothing's going to happen to that. You just need to be strong. But if your brain is not strong, how can your mind be strong as well? That's really the question that I think that we need to look at. Persons, I've highlighted the Caribbean, but I've spoken to several students who have reached out to me after speaking about my issues over the past few months, with mental health and with anxiety in particular, have spoken out to me and said, well, it's the same for us here in Malaysia, and it's the same for us here in Bangladesh, and our families believe this thing as well, and it's very, very harmful, especially when we are going into a field that constantly puts stress on our brains. We are constantly pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's harder for us because we have a culture which tells us, well, your brain should be able to withstand all of that weight, and the truth is, it can't. It's not built to. So if you need help, absolutely, always speak out and ask for help, even if it's hard. For me, I I had always felt anxious. I'd been speaking about feeling anxious about like the smallest things. If you message me, my friends know that if they message me, they will get a response in 2 weeks. And it's not because I am mean. It's not because I don't want to see your message. I see your message and then I try to click it and I can't. I can't. I feel physically ill when I try to go and click on messages because messages are where I think my anxiety really it doesn't work. Like anything written, like my anxiety just acts up when it comes to that. So I like my friends know that they're supposed to call me. And I just thought that that was normal. I just thought that, everybody feels ill when doing certain things, right? Like everybody feels like they can't breathe, right? Like some people can't breathe when they get notifications. That's real, right? And apparently it wasn't. And I think because I had been pushing myself constantly, because I have nothing I ever do ever feels like it's enough. I did Model United Nations. I interned at the Supreme Court. I did all these different things. I worked and worked and worked and volunteered and all of that. And I still felt like I wasn't doing enough to succeed. I got scholarships. I got scholarships from the Caribbean. I got scholarships from England. Didn't feel like I was good enough. Oh, well, it's a fluke. I'm still not good enough. And that was always there. And I thought that, well, that's just always going to be there. But then all of that I've just been pushing away and thinking, yeah, no, I just need to be stronger, and I need to like, I don't need help. Like I could just continue to go on and continue to pray and everything will be okay. I don't actually need any medical assistance for this. All of that just came crashing down when I did the bar course. And you would know, because you're on it right now, that the bar course is the most demanding course that you will ever do in your life. I am doing a master's currently, and it is so much easier than the bar course. The bar course requires that you are constantly reading, that you abandon your social life. Your social life will be qualifying sessions, and that will be it. Qualifying sessions, legal work experience, and that is it. Because you can't find time, unless of course you're not striving for the outstanding, which I am. Again, I'm always striving for the best because I don't feel like I'm good enough, and I constantly feel like I need to be proving myself. So I'm striving for that outstanding. So I'm not going out with my friends. I'm not taking time off. I need to be working because I need 85% in everything. And I I was away from family. I was an international student. I was away from family. I didn't know anybody in Birmingham. I um I was around. I had wonderful friends and incredible lecturers and tutors who were lovely, but sometimes it gets too much. Somebody telling you you're saying Bernard wrong, and it's Bernard. It gets too much. Like sometimes, my accent, yeah, I get my accent is different, guys. Like, please. Sometimes you want to hear somebody that sounds like you. Sometimes you want to feel like you're not alone. But I felt like I was constantly pushing this away, these feelings of just sadness and anxiety and feeling like I'm not good enough. And then you have pupillage applications coming up, and you have many pupillage applications coming up, and you have all of these exams, and you have assignments to submit every week, and you have advocacy to submit every week, and all of these different things. And then the pandemic happened. And then the pandemic happened. And I thought I was going to die. Because everybody was dying and everybody was getting sick. And prior to that, the course alone was so stressful that I had already reached out to the disability advisor at BPP Birmingham and told her, I am really struggling, and I hate to say it, and I just cried in front of her and I said, I hate to say this because I feel like I'm strong enough to handle this, but it's really, really hard. And I just want to know if you can just give me some advice. I wasn't expecting anything like her telling me to go to the doctor, because what you're describing is very severe. I didn't expect her to say that, but that's what she said. And she saw it as very urgent. And for me, this is how I felt. This was just amplified because of the course, but this was all how I always felt. So why are you telling me now to go to the doctor? But I did go to the doctor, and that's when I got my diagnosis. And then while I had gotten the diagnosis, I and had started to go through different ways to help with my anxiety and, at the time, depression. I what the pandemic happened, and then it got worse because I was isolated. I The human interaction that I had was school, and now that's gone. And now I can just see people on a screen, and it was horrible, horrible. And I would like to say that you know sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear all of the noise, but um I I don't know if the pandemic made it really, really hard, but having somebody to speak to who understood what I was going through, having like apart from just from praying, and which was very helpful as well, actually having tried and tested medical help for this illness that I had with my brain, was really, really helpful and really, really good for me.
You know,
So sorry, go ahead.
no. Let me let you conclude your point.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're feeling this, and up to today, I spoke to a student who described to me everything that I was going through and said, I'm feeling like this, a bar student. I'm feeling like this, and I don't know. I don't feel like I want to ask for any help because the NHS is already burdened by COVID, and I don't feel like this is that important. And that's really how I felt as well. And also, my parents are very conservative and they don't believe in mental health and all of that. My parents believe in mental health, but I just thought that I should be stronger. And I said, that's how I felt. And I'm telling you now that you are not supposed to feel like that. And this is very important. And you can absolutely reach out to your GP about it.
Listen to me. Do you know why I'm seated here? I'm in awe of everything you're saying, and I'm riveted. Like I was listening very keenly because the bar course is so grueling that even if throughout your entire life you never thought that you grappled or you struggled with any of these kind of issues or signs, the bar course is that course that can reveal anything that was underlying. And I want to make a point here that anxiety or any other mental health difficulties or challenges that people do have can be triggered by an event in your life. You can be living fine and something can actually happen that actually makes you recognize, oh dear, I might actually have a little bit of an issue here. I've always prided myself as doing, going about my way to do my work, being ambitious, trying to achieve what needs to be achieved, trying to pursue the best, or attain the best grade that I possibly can. But embarking on this bar course, I'm still in the middle of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I moved to a different city. So I spent 3 years in Newcastle doing my LLB. That within itself was hard when I was adjusting there. But obviously it became a home away from home because I spent 3 years there. Moved to Leeds to do my bar course. And I recognize that I am coping with, I think it's tiers. They have lockdowns in tiers, or there's a national lockdown now.
Oh,
But
mm-hmm,
there's a national lockdown now. But generally, how they cope with COVID is to impose these tier restrictions. You can do
mm-hmm.
different things. You have to associate sometimes in a bubble of six, so you can't do that. You have to associate only within your support bubble. Now it's in the national lockdown. You just go to school, you come home, and you can associate with your support bubble.
Okay.
I recognize that while doing that, while doing the course,
Mm-hmm.
there are many times that I find myself sad, like sad for prolonged periods of time. Um, I find myself complaining to my parents that I hate it here. I sit in one space for the majority of the day doing my work. I only move to get something to eat, and then I'm right back in this space facing the wall, tapping away at a computer. I feel like I'm going bloody nuts.
Yeah.
That's how, that's exactly how you feel, because on the bar course, unfortunately, it's like your little hamster on a wheel. You never get
Yeah.
off that wheel until you finish your assessment. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
are always preparing for another workshop. There is always another workshop coming. There's always another hand-in assignment. There is never a break. There is never a lull in the course for you to go. You can't go to your workshops unprepared, because not only is it impolite, but you can actually be asked to step out, which is fair because other people,
Right. Yeah, no, they do.
other people have prepared, and if you walk in there with nothing, it's not really right for you to be benefiting from other people's preparation, just sitting there typing away. So you are
Yeah.
always faced in a situation where, as much as you're crying, and people laugh when I say this, but it's just become part of who I am now. You have these little mini breakdowns where you go and you just throw yourself in the bed and you ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you torturing yourself like this?
Yeah.
And then you still have to find yourself in the middle of your, as people may think, it's wallowing in self-pity, but in the middle of your pity, your sadness, you have to get up, go back to that spot. Well, me, I got to go back to that spot, staring at that wall, because as much as I'm tapping away at that computer, the wall is right there. You got to go back, tap away at that computer in order to finish your preparation for the next session.
Yep.
It never stops. And I think that is why the bar course is one of the most grueling courses, because it's not only about, your intellectual ability and being able to be on task all the time, but it really does weigh on your mental health. I told somebody already, I describe the courses as quite inhumane. I I describe the course as quite inhumane.
Yep.
I should not be living like this, you know?
It's wrong. It's wrong. I honestly, I don't know. I feel like persons don't know before you go into this course how awful it is. And I think it's also because I think that they changed the course a lot throughout the years. So you have older barristers who are thinking, oh, well, like that little foolish course, like that's what I'm out here upset about. That little poor Ricky course. All right. That's the kind of attitude that these barristers have. Well, some of them. But it has changed. It has changed. And doing it in a global pandemic is actual torture. It's actual no, like, should we be looking into the fact that this is torture? Maybe.
Well,
Maybe.
Mequissa, I really enjoy this discussion, but before we conclude, what are you currently doing now regarding education and regarding employment?
Okay. Well, currently I am doing a master's in public law because I went through a very long journey of trying to decide what it is that I want to do while I am at the bar. And I really decided on public law. I think I said earlier that I enjoyed the fact that I had to redo public law in the UK because it helped me to understand what it is that I wanted to do. So I'm doing a master's in public law, which is also allowing me to focus on human rights, international law, international human rights, and also I'm doing some international trade and intellectual property law courses on the side. I am also mentoring a couple of students, both in the UK and in Barbados, but primarily in the UK, persons who are both on their LLB and also on the bar course. And basically, I am just giving tips on how to manage mental health, how to tips for applying for scholarships. I also will be organizing mock interviews for those students who do end up getting interviews for scholarships. I'll be looking through pupillage applications and giving whatever help I can. I also look through for students who are on the bar course currently. I provide resources that they might not have, and just tips on how to succeed. And I'm just basically there as someone to come to whenever you need any help, whenever you would like to I don't know, vent, like just talk to me, and anytime you need advice. And you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn, which is just Mequissa Baptiste. There are very few Mequissa Baptiste, if any others, on LinkedIn. So you will find me, and just reach out to me and say that you might be interested in the mentorship scheme. I'll try to make it a bit more formal in the future. But yeah, I'm also working as a commercial legal strategist at CARICOM Attorneys at Law, here in the Caribbean in the meantime. And it's allowing me to just do some commercial law, which I had never been exposed to really. So while I am interested in public law, I'm also being exposed to another area of law that I think is very interesting. I am in the beginning stages of starting up a charity here in Barbados to help low income persons in the country to access resources to help them with employment, those who are interested in entrepreneurial ideas or paths, persons who need help with finding transportation to school, persons who need help with different things. But I think the program that I'm most proud about would be a program that would help persons who are who would be benefiting from the charity, helping them to understand politics and just teaching them about politics, teaching them how the government works, etc., and also teaching them about the law and their rights and responsibilities as citizens. I must say, I got the idea from the Street Law Project, which I was heavily involved in while I was in the UK. And I thought that, hey, that's a really good idea. And I think that we should have something similar in the Caribbean. So with this charity that I've started with my best friend and another person, we are going to focus on those things. And I think that, I hope that it would be beneficial to the community here in Barbados.
Definitely. That street law project helps many thousands of people here in the UK. So I think that that is something that should be started at home. And I think that's a wonderful initiative that you have an opportunity that you've seized, and you've gotten that going. Now, Mequissa, it has been a pleasure hosting and having you here as a guest. And do I dare say that I will have you back on the channel, because as we spoke about prior, I think it would be invaluable for students to learn about the ins and outs of visas and visa requirements, and the real hidden facts behind a visa application and what may be entailed. But thanks for your time, for coming onto the channel. I really enjoyed this episode. I always enjoy all of my episodes, but this one was incredibly special. So thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving up your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was lovely. It was lovely speaking to you.
Good. Thank you very much. And to all of our viewers, thanks for tuning in. And I will be definitely seeing you on the next video. Have a good one, guys.